Hello, this is the DAB Submersible Well Pumps Installation and Warranty Training Seminar. The first section, we are going to be talking about submersible well pumps. The new S4 range for the DAB Submersible Well Pumps are strong, powerful, and reliable. That S4 range is an improvement over our previous S4 range. Our S4 range now replaces the old S4 range and the old CS range. These are designed to be excellent, the standard for well pumps, and to be more efficient and better at doing the job of moving water with a submersible well pump. As you can see, the new S4 range of submersible pumps for 4-inch wells is divided into 10 families dedicated into the 60 hertz market. The head height goes up to 1,500 feet or 450 meters. The flow is up to 120 gallons per minute or 27 cubic meters per hour. And the maximum power is up to 10 horsepower for the 4-inch range. The designation for the S4 range has changed. Previously, they were based upon the number of stages and the cubic meters per hour of flow. Now they are based on US units. The S4 is the designation showing that it is stainless steel and a 4-inch pump and motor. The 5 next in the designation is the nominal flow in gallons per minute. After that is the motor size, and we don't use decimals in these. So the motor size for this, for example, is 15. That is the motor size times 10, so it would be 1.5 horsepower. The main technical features of the new S4 range. It has a full stainless steel 304 stainless steel construction with technopolymer impellers. It has a frontal gap impeller for higher efficiency and improved sand resistance. It is regulation compliant. It has certification for drinking water from the NSF. It has an expanded sand quantity that can be pushed through the pump without damaging it. It has an internal non-removable filter, and it has an internal non-return or check valve. And up to 25 gallons per minute, that is the poppet version. This is the new impeller design, designed by DAB in Italy. It has a higher abrasion resistance. It has a lower mechanical load on a higher percentage of sand, which makes it more efficient, even when sand is moving through it. And it has no additional floating wear ring. You can see here how the impellers look as installed in the pump. It has a 2-stage housing version. The Technopolymer stainless steel wear ring is integrated into the diffuser, and it has a full stainless steel cup around the outside of the impeller and the diffuser. This provides additional wear resistance and longer life for the pump. Filter inside the pump body. It's now a more compact solution. It makes it easier to move along the walls of the well during installation so that there are no snags. There's no damage possibility during installation because it's already integrated into the pump and you don't have to add it on after the pump is connected to the motor. And it makes for an easier installation on the motor because, again, it's not an additional part that you have to add. It's integral to the pump. The S4 range has a new product design in terms of the check valve or non-return valve. The poppet valve works up to 25 gallons per minute. Actually, it works up to the 25 gallon per minute range of the pump, and it can be easily removed if needed. Next, we're going to talk about reading pump performance curves. This is important in determining the right pump and motor combination for your submersible well. Pump performance curves represent how much total head a pump can do at a specific flow. As flow and pressure are inverse on a pump, the more flow you need, the less pressure can be provided, and vice versa. For example, you can see the example here on the right-hand side of the presentation. You would need 700 feet of head at 8 gallons per minute. You follow the line from 700 feet, the red line, and then select the curve that is closest to 8 gallons per minute, the blue line. That will be the pump that will do the performance that you need. This will give you the capability of understanding what performance your pump can do. Feet of head can also be converted to PSI easily and vice versa, since both measurements are both measurements of pressure. You divide the feet of head by 2.31 to get the PSI, and you multiply PSI by 2.31 to get feet of head. We can see that this is the curve and the characteristics for the 5 gallons per minute S4 range. This is the curve and performance for the 7 gallons per minute S4 range. This is the curve and performance for the 10 gallons per minute S4 range. This is the curve and performance for the 15 gallons per minute S4 range. This is the curve and performance for the 20 gallons per minute S4 range. This is the curve and performance for the 35 gallons per minute S4 range. This is the curve and performance for the 45 gallon per minute S4 range. This is the curve and performance for the 60 gallon per minute S4 range. And this is the curve and performance for the 90 gallon per minute S4 range. As you can see, there are 10 different families, and each gallons per minute or flow designation in that family goes up to 10 horsepower for each pump. This is the material construction. You can see the stainless steel and technopolymer material construction provides for enhanced anti-corrosion and enhanced wear capabilities for a longer lasting and more efficient pump. In this section, we're going to talk about the submersible motors. Submersible motors provided with DAB pumps are from Tesla, a division of DAB. The first motors we're going to talk about are the submersible motors for the 4-inch. You've got the 4-inch GG, which are made out of stainless steel 304, and you have the 4-inch TW, which are made out of stainless steel 304, and both motors are made with cast iron as well. The 4-inch GG Tesla motor has a resin-filled stator for increased thermal dissipation. It heats up less by using the resin-filled stator to dissipate heat out to the water that's moving past the motor more efficiently. They're water-filled for lubrication and have high-strength Kingsbury thrust bearings. They also use a control box for starting because these are 3-wire motors. We have the 4-inch TW motor. The Tesla TW motors are permanent split capacitor systems and use a single capacitor as both the start capacitor and the run capacitor. This capacitor is located inside the motor, so a control box is not necessary. This capacitor powers both the auxiliary winding to enable motor rotation in the correct direction, and it improves the efficiency of the motor. In this section, we're going to talk about control boxes that are used for the 4-inch motors, specifically the GG line of 4-inch motors. The TW line does not require a control box because it has an internal capacitor. The DAB line or Tesla line of control boxes contains 3 main control boxes. This is the 4-inch CBUS small for up to 1 horsepower motors, the 4-inch CBUS basic for up to 5 horsepower motors, and then there is the 4-inch CBUS deluxe for up to 5 horsepower motors. The Tesla 4-inch CBUS small control boxes are CS or CSIR control boxes. CS means capacitor start, and CSIR means capacitor start induction run. They both basically mean the same thing. What they mean is that means they use the start capacitor to get the motor turning in the correct direction, and then use a relay to cut it out of the circuit. The rotation of the motor continues due to electrical induction. This is used for 1 horsepower or smaller motors because it's not quite as efficient enough to use for the larger motors. This is the 4-inch CBUS basic standard control box. The 4-inch CBUS basic control box is a capacitor start or capacitor run box, CSCR. These systems use both a start capacitor and a run capacitor. The start capacitor enables the motor to rotate in the correct direction, and once the motor is started, a relay switches the auxiliary winding connection to a run capacitor, which is optimized to improve the efficiency of the motor while it is running. Usually, these are used for 2 horsepower or larger motors, although they can be used for smaller motors as well. The 4-inch CBUS Deluxe control box is the same as the CBUS Basic in many respects, but with the addition of a magnetic contactor. The magnetic contactor is a disconnection connection device used in the Plus or Deluxe control box as a more robust method of connecting and disconnecting the electrical power to the relay, the capacitors, and the motor. An external control, such as a pressure switch, can be wired into the contactor, and when that control activates the control system and the motor by turning on, an electromagnetic coil inside the contactor will complete the power circuit, providing power to the relay, the capacitors, and the motor. Safety devices such as overloads can also be wired into the magnetic contactor to disconnect power in case of an overload. This section is based on filling out the warranty form. We recommend that the provided DAB submersible pump and motor information record be filled out as completely as possible when you're installing the pump. You won't be able to provide all the information that will be needed for a warranty upon the installation for the pump, but providing as much information as you can and then filing it with your files for that installation will make it much easier to fill out the warranty record later on. This will provide information on the pump and the motor as it was originally installed, and the information record can be filled with the pump installation documents and completed at the time of the warranty submittal. That makes the whole process easier and run more smoothly. In this section, we're going to talk about filling out the form properly. To start with, some basic information is required. In this section, we're going to talk about filling out the motor information. This is where the information from the motor data plate is filled out. Again, this is usually easier to do before the motor is installed. The motor description and part number, the serial number, and the date code can usually be found on the motor data plate or from the manufacturer. This is where the information on the date of installation, the number of starts per day, and the like for the motor is placed. It's also where the information on the electrical readings from the motor, such as the ohm readings of the motor cables, whether any are shorted to ground, or whether the motor shaft is low or locked, is noted. Note that some of this information can be filled out before the warranty when the motor is installed, the motor with the pump is installed, but some of it will have to be filled out afterwards. This is the power and cabling information. Power and cabling information is very important to determining whether a proper installation was made or whether there might have been a problem with that installation. Information on the cable length, the size, incoming voltage, running amps, and the type of power being used, what kind of power source you're using, such as a generator or power from the grid, is vital to understanding the installation and why the pump and motor may have failed. Information on the proper wire sizing for the cable length, voltage, and amperage for the motor can be found in the DAB Tesla installation and operation manual, which you can get from DAB and Tesla. Controls and control panel. This is where the information on how the pump is started and run is detailed. By actuator, we mean what actually starts and stops the pump, whether that's a pressure switch, a transducer, a flow sensor, a timer, or any other device of that type. The DOL or VFD designations on sections here apply exclusively to direct online, which is normal start and run with a typical control box, or VFD, which is start and run with a variable frequency drive, and should be filled out either or for whichever control panel or device is used to power and control the motor. This is the pump information section. All information shall be filled in and all should be available from the pump information plate or label. Manufacturer, model, stages, design information about the expected well performance, and the information about the horsepower required, set depth, and static water level shall all be included. This is easier to fill out when the pump is being originally installed and should be filled out at that time if at all possible. The manufacturer and model should provide all the information needed about the pump diameter, type, etc. This will give you more information about the specific pump installation that can be used to determine the state of the well and the warranty itself. Notes and explanation of problem. This section is the most free form of the warranty form, and any notes or explanation of the problem that hasn't been filled out in the parts of the form above should be included here, such as sand or debris in the pump end, damaged impellers, damaged diffusers or damaged bowls, stripped shaft and teeth, broken shaft, the condition of the well, the condition of the motor splice, any damage to the motor, such as could occur from a lightning strike, or any other information about the installation that is pertinent or could help with the diagnosis or understanding the well conditions or the warranty. Please remember to fill out the warranty form as completely as possible with detailed descriptions and accurate information. This is because incomplete warranty forms are far more likely to be rejected. The very best way to ensure that your warranty is processed as quickly, as easily, and completely as possible and is approved is completely filling out the warranty form as much as is physically possible.